This is another episode of the 430 Movie Podcast. And as always, I'm here with Mr. Monday, Stephen Melching.
Hi there. Seems like old times.
On Tuesday, it's DAREN R. DOCHTERMAN.
Well, hi there. Heidi ho.
On Friday, on Wednesday, it's Ashley Edward Miller.
I'd say what we have here is a dead shark, but that would be too soon.
And on Thursday, it's me, Mark A. Altman. And well, I got to tell you, this week is it's exciting, but it's sad. We're doing Diane Keaton week, and I got to tell you, my wife said to me, "It's your fault that Diane Keaton died." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Yeah, because on the last 430 movie, you said you're not coming back unless somebody else dies." That you're on hiatus. And you know what? You tempted the movie gods because you had to make that comment, and now look what happened. So she's right. I should have never said it. It was a huge mistake.
Seems like the only time we get together is commemorating people.
For funerals. Why are we treating other people? Other people have birthdays. Why are we treating yours like a funeral?
Other people have funerals.
Why are you treating yours like a birthday? I kind of like that better.
God. I love that Diane Keaton. I love that Diane Keaton. Oh, I love her so much. It was so sad. It was so sad. I was so sad. We were at a convention in St. Louis, and we're in the middle of a panel. I literally just found out before the panel started. And halfway through the panel with James Marsters and Charisma Carpenter about Buffy, of all things, I say, "So how do you feel about Diane Keaton passing away? What's your favorite Diane Keaton movie?" And the entire audience went, like no one knew, because I guess not everyone has deadline alerts on their phone in St. Louis. And then Charisma was virtually breaking down in tears. And I looked at Darren and I'm like, maybe I should have said that.
Yeah.
Way to bring down the room.
Oh, you're not kidding, man. Oh, you'll hear it when we have the panel on Deck 78. It was just like, oh, I'm so stupid. But yeah, so it was a very Diane Keaton kind of thing to do. So in that sense, I guess it was okay. Yeah. I love Diane Keaton. Obviously, her oeuvre is so many great choices. Of course, we're gonna have a great week. In fact, I remember I had a girlfriend in high school who reminded me of Diane Keaton, which is one of the reasons I dated her. But anyway, Steve, tell us about a little overview of why Diane Keaton was so special and why she'll be so sorely missed.
Well, I think, I love Diane Keaton too. I think anyone of a certain age couldn't help but be in love with this woman. I mean, she was not only incredibly beautiful, but also so funny and awkward and human and smart and talented. She was just like the perfect package. She was just an absolutely wonderful, at least as far as her public persona goes. I've never met her, but by all accounts, she was just as delightful, in real life. But
that's what everyone says.
Yeah.
I never met her either.
I think I read that Al Pacino regrets not having asked her to marry him.
Oh, yeah, wow. and Woody Allen wrote a beautiful memorial to her too, and said something very similar.
Yeah, she was born in Los Angeles and went to school in Orange County before moving to Manhattan to pursue her acting career in earnest.
To Manhattan,
where she. Her first big role was an understudy in the Broadway musical Hair. And from there, she was cast by Woody Allen in his play version of Play It Again, Sam, for which she was nominated for Tony Award, I believe. And then she was cast in a movie I'm sure we'll talk about that was a humongous movie that I think made her really kicked off her career as a movie actress.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so fantastic. Well, we're going to pay tribute to her. Before we do that, I also want to acknowledge the passing of the great Orson Welles. We recently celebrated his life by three of us were in St. Louis for a convention, as I mentioned, the aforementioned convention. It wasn't all disaster, would be putting my foot in the proverbial mouth, but we went to Citizen Kane Steakhouse. Now, I feel that's, even though that's something we talked about on the Trexperts, I feel it's relevant to 430 movie, of course, because some people go to Galaxy's Edge for the Star Wars, or you go to Harry Potter Land. Well, here on the 430 movie, we go to Citizen Kane Steakhouse for the Citizen Kane. Now, the thing about it was, when I made the reservation for us, I just thought the name of the place was Citizen Kane, and maybe the guy's name, or the chef or something was Kane.
Coincidence.
We didn't think it was actually going to be themed as a Citizen Kane restaurant. Well, guess what? It was. We arrived, and there was a rosebud on the sign of a flower, not of a, I'm going to say. And Jesus. And then we walk in.
It was, Ash.
And there was like an Inquirer, the Inquirer post, the picture.
Yeah, the San Francisco Inquirer window that we see them sitting in, smiling out the window.
Where it transforms that wonderful, match cut, that wonderful dissolve actually is just so amazing from the photograph to the live action. And then also they had the one sheets, the Citizen Kane one sheet. And perhaps most of all, this is not a restaurant review show, the steak was phenomenal. I got to mention it. But it was really amazing. Because, but the whole idea that it was steamed
Orson would have had
Citizen
three
Kane,
of them.
He would have three. He would have three of them.
What was his favorite line? Was that him that said the same again, or they ate the entire meal and then he ordered the same meal again?
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah. I was going to say, did the host say, "I think it would be fun to run a restaurant"?
Oh no, but we had plenty of references. Yeah, we had plenty of references. Yeah. Citizen Kane Steakhouse. He did agree.
Steak on the march.
Yep,
that's
exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Citizen Kane.
More
and you know what?
cattle than Noah.
If you haven't seen Citizen Kane, for God's sakes, turn off this podcast and watch Citizen Kane. It's a freaking masterpiece.
And if you haven't been to Citizen Kane Steakhouse, go get the steak. It's freaking great. Oh my gosh, that was such a good meal.
Salad was good.
But I just couldn't get over. They had a sled. They had a sled at their front. It was like,
talk about spoiler.
Well,
right there up in the front.
I was trying to avoid saying anything, but and the dessert we had some of us had a pumpkin cheesecake that was chef's kiss.
The crazy thing was the ice cream that they served in the snow globe. Did not see that coming. But, that was a nice touch.
And even the salad was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, this was you wouldn't expect it. This little town
was amazing.
called Kirkwood.
But the thing is, we went on October 10th. And I should have remembered the significance of October 10th. I did at 4 a.m. on the next day. October 10th, 1985, 40 years ago, is the anniversary of Orson Welles' death. And I didn't realize it while we were there. It's amazing.
Because you're a heartless bastard.
He realized it the next day. And it was just this weird synchronicity. I mean, here we go. We found this place in the middle of nowhere, this Citizen Kane Steakhouse. It's themed with the Citizen Kane theme. And it's the anniversary of Orson Welles' passing. And Henry Jaglom had just passed away too, who was like his chronicler. In many ways, and a good friend of Orson Welles. He didn't inherit his talent, but he had for making movies. But he did have he did document some wonderful conversations with Orson Welles, and it was lovely. So, anyways, that was really cool. And then, on a personal note, I have to say, I consider this a personal victory. So, my daughter's taking her midterms at college, and she calls me and Naomi and says, so our teacher let us listen to music during the midterms, it's like a thing they do now in college. I can't imagine that they would have allowed that. And when I went to college, but that was the Flintstones era. But so I said, oh, really? What did you listen to? And, I expected, knowing her taste, which is great. The Doors or, Taylor or just a million different options that, I would have expected from her, Fiona Apple. So she goes, the soundtrack from Chinatown. And I'm like,
Okay.
mission accomplished. So great. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe, she don't even like Chinatown. It's my wife's favorite movie. My son loves it. My daughter doesn't even love Chinatown. She's like Steve in that respect. And, but she was listening to Chinatown. And the fact that she was listening to Jerry Goldsmith, it gave me such joy as a parent and co-host of the 4:30 movie.
Now,
I
see,
gotta tell you.
a neurologist or a neuroscientist would tell you that they should, the kids who are, taking their exams while listening to music should actually use that to their advantage by studying listening to that music.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because it will improve their recall.
Well, she aced it. She got an A, but
Well, see, there
that's
you
good
go.
advice. I'll tell her that next time.
Thanks, Chinatown.
She can listen to the two Jakes. So, anyway. Anyway.
Or be listening to Schoolhouse Rock.
Or Schoolhouse Rock.
Or be listening to music that has all the answers buried in the lyrics.
That's what I mean by Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
That's
Exactly.
the
That
point.
way, if you're writing about a bill sitting on Capitol Hill, it's just,
That's right.
See, I made a mistake by listening
just a bill.
to Polynesian Town when I took my essays.
Can I ask you guys, this is off the beaten track. So, I'm going to ask the writers and I'm going to ask the artist. When you write, do you listen to music?
Yes.
What do you listen to, Ashley? Like generally, is it?
It depends on what I'm writing. I'll go and I'll make a playlist, and it's pretty eclectic, and it's generally stuff that feels tonally correct to what I'm doing, or somehow like there's something in the text that feels like it belongs there, and I'll just set it to shuffle and I'll go. But I'll do that for almost every different thing that I write.
Yeah. And you adjusted the theme. Like if I'm writing about the Russians or the Cold War, I have like Gorky Park and the Russia House.
Or I have like, Crimson Tide. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
Crimson Tide's go to all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Steve-O? Will you write to music when you're writing?
Most of the time, yes. I do almost the exact same thing Ashley does. But prior to the iTunes era, I had a CD changer. So I'd put in like, the score to Run Lola Run or, something that's just really super energetic. And I'd put it on random shuffle. But once I ripped everything in iTunes, I started making playlists specific to whatever project I was working on. And typically it's movie soundtrack music without lyrics. That's thematically or gives me the feeling that I want to have in the script. Although I tend to avoid cues that are too iconic. Like I can't listen to Raiders of the Lost Ark because it's just that theme.
You associate those music with the images. Yeah. So you stop listening to Run Lola Run when you stop taking amphetamines to write.
Yeah, exactly. And that's still part of some of my playlists, depending on what I'm writing.
Yeah, cool. And what about you, Darren? Do you listen to music when you're doing concept art and or now also doing CG visual effects?
Well, back in the day when we used to work in an art department at a studio, I used to be the guy who had his boombox there. And so I would be the one playing the music for the entire art department bullpen. And listen to music all the time, all sorts of stuff, depending on what the mood was and what everyone liked or disliked. It was great. That time changed about 15 years ago, and people began being very uptight about the environment in working on movies in specific.
It's not cleared. It's not cleared for use in the art department. You can't.
Yeah,
listen.
I mean stuff like that. It just people began, insisting on headphones for everybody, and if you listen to it at all, and things just became less communal and less fun. So
I think I'm going to go to wired headphones.
In terms of now, I haven't listened to music while I work in quite a while.
You whistle while you work?
No, never. Never. I mean, my nickname is Doc, but no.
Mine's sleepy.
It's interesting because I have to partition off time to listen to music that is unfettered by anything else. So that's where I am now.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So, look, this week we're talking about the loss of a stellar talent, the great Diane Keaton. Those of you at GalaxyCon St. Louis probably heard about this first, but since then, the world has heard about this terrible loss. And as always, we start during our Fantasy Theme Week with Steve Melching, who's going to tell us what his pick is for Monday. And let's see if we're right about what we think he's going to pick, because none of us know what the other person's going to pick. That's part of the fun of the show. I mean, we can guess, but we don't know.
Isn't that the fun of it?
My guess is none of you will guess what I'm going to pick for
Bob
my
Roberts.
pick.
Oh, she wasn't in that.
She inspired the movie, though. This is a movie that 20 years ago I wouldn't have picked, but I'm older now, and it's. I don't think it's one of her best movies, but I think it's one of her best performances. I think she's an absolute delight in it. She was nominated for an Oscar for this performance, and I'm talking about 2003's Something's Gotta Give.
Ah, the sweet, uncomplicated satisfaction of the younger woman. Some say I'm an expert on the subject. Guess that's because I've been dating them for over 40 years.
Harry Sanborn was living every man's fantasy.
I brought us some champagne. I'll put it on ice.
You stay where you are. I have an intruder in my house.
You don't understand. I'm dating your daughter.
You're dating my daughter?
Now, who would have thought that would be worse news?
But this holiday season,
Never been married, Harry.
No.
Harry was once engaged to Diane Sawyer.
What? I'm impressed.
Women your age love that about me.
Honey, what are you doing with this guy?
He's fun.
What are they listening to?
Oh, Marvin Gaye? That's disgusting, Zoe. Stop it. Did she say mom?
the ultimate bachelor,
Did you take any Viagra?
Deep Viagra.
Positive, because I put nitroglycerin into your drip. The combination could be fatal.
is about to encounter
Your dad's gonna be okay.
He's not my dad.
I'm sorry, your granddad's gonna be okay.
something new.
Sorry. God, am I sorry. I've never seen a woman that age naked before.
You're kidding.
Hey, we're not all doctors, baby.
Well, I think she's very beautiful. You must beat them away with a stick.
You're kidding. No, men my age.
Men your age may be really stupid. You ever think of that?
Many times.
You wouldn't want to join me for a short walk.
Of course I would, but I usually don't like to break once I've started writing, so I probably
It's
shouldn't.
just
but
a walk. Not a marriage proposal.
From the director of What Women Want,
What about Mr. Midnight here?
Rule of thumb is, if you can climb a flight of stairs, you can have sex.
comes a comedy about life.
She's very brilliant, but the woman cannot hold her liquor.
I like that about me.
Me too.
What it takes
I can't decide if you hate me or if you're like the only person who ever really got me.
I don't hate you.
why it hurts,
Look at you. This is my big fear, that some guy could get me unglued like this.
and how it can surprise you.
It's not crazy for a guy to suddenly like something that you never thought you could ever like.
Don't get me wrong.
Ever.
Something's Gotta Give, a film by Nancy Myers.
Written and directed by Nancy Myers, in which she co-starred with Jack Nicholson and Keanu Reeves in a sort of a love triangle. And it's just it's a solid romantic comedy drama. It's not one for the ages, but it's really well made. It was very successful when it came out, 2003. It grossed over $250 million worldwide. And I think I responded to it more when I watched it recently than I did when it came out, because I'm about the age her character is in that movie now.
35.
Yes. And she looks absolutely luminous in the movie, and it's a great character performance for her. It's a really I think Nicholson is a little over the top. He's being Jack as usual, but he's fine. And Keanu Reeves is charming in the movie as her younger suitor. And it's just a terrific movie. Keaton won the Golden Globe for that performance, in addition to being nominated for an Oscar for that role. So,
yeah, no, it's interesting pick. And I have to say, speaking of Keanu, apparently they dated for a while, which is good for Keanu.
Wow.
And then also, I saw. Did you see Good Fortune this week?
Yes, I did.
What do you think?
I thought he was, again, charming.
Charming. It's a fun movie. It's not perfect, but I enjoyed it. Okay.
It's a movie where Keanu is very Keanu, Seth Rogen is very Seth Rogen, and Aziz Ansari is very Aziz Ansari. But it's a solid movie with a good heart and a good message.
1/3 of that sounds good.
No, it's really entertaining. It's not going to set the world on fire. It's not going to be a movie that people talk about in 10 years, but it's really entertaining. It's well done. It's funny. And it has a great cast, and Keanu is terrific. It's like the comedic version of It's a Wonderful Life.
But in Something's Gotta Give, I was just relieved when I saw that Hans Zimmer did the score. I was relieved that, when Jack showed up, I was going, wah. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't say, did you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? By the way, speaking of, this is free associating, speaking of Jack Nicholson, Diane Keaton, my son's been watching old episodes of the Johnny Carson show. Yeah. And Diane Keaton, we watched the Diane Keaton on the, and she is just wonderful, luminous, just so funny and just charming. If you want to sort of see her, I think it was from 1972, 1973. And her and Carson were just magic together. And we've been doing that a lot. We've been watching like Leonard Nimoy, and it's all on Tubi. If you want, they have a Johnny Carson by demand, or you can watch the streaming Johnny Carson. And it was one with Charles Grodin. I was on the floor. It was so funny. But it's just wonderful because we finished Larry Sanders and now we're watching the real thing. We're watching all these old Johnny Carsons. But I'm only mentioning this because Diane Keaton was just terrific on Johnny Carson and worth watching it.
Last week, Stephen Colbert played a clip on his show from when Diane Keaton was a guest on the Colbert Report, and she was just flirtatious and funny, and it was just delightful. Yeah, totally. Okay, great pick for Monday. That's Nancy Meyers. Something's Gotta Give. An unexpected romantic comedy from Steve Melching, but Steve is getting older and wiser, so he's mellowing,
and he's quickly approaching the age of Jack Nicholson in that movie.
Okay, so that brings us to Tuesday, and Darren Doctorman, what's your pick for Diane Keaton week, Darren?
You know what? There are so many great movies to choose from that I thought I would actually go back. Sorry. Maybe I'll talk through Wednesday. I'm going to pick one that is not immediately registering, but it is a movie I've picked before for other reasons. It is, she's in it for maybe 2.5 minutes, but they are so memorable that it's one of my favorite parts in the whole movie. That is, in fact, Woody Allen's 1987 Radio Days.
Oh, Sydney, this is our first date together.
Oh, B, you know how I feel about you.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. The landing of hundreds of unidentified spacecraft has now been officially confirmed as a full-scale invasion of the Earth by Martians.
Now, I love old radio stories, and I know 1 million of them. I've collected them down through the years, like a hobby. Anecdotes and gossip and inside stories about the stars. Plus, I recall so many personal experiences from when I grew up and listened to one show after another. This girl singing used to be a favorite at my house, one of many. Now it's all gone, except for the memories.
Pay more attention to your schoolwork and less to the radio.
You always listen to the radio.
It's different. Our lives are ruined already.
I double dare you to sit over here.
This is Irene Draper and Roger Daly saying,
If you love me, you'd leave your wife and marry me.
I can't do that. Our ratings are too high.
Paradise.
Davis.
Lay that pistol down, babe. Lay that pistol down.
I can keep a secret. I know everything about everybody on Broadway.
But what do you do?
She sings, Mama.
I don't wanna.
Every time I hear that song, my memory goes back to Leonard. That was our song.
Leonard?
Guess that tune!
Clark Gable was in town this week. And where did he go? To El Morocco.
How come you never take me to the Copacabana, El Morocco?
Take the gas pipe.
There are those who drink champagne at nightclubs and us who listen to them drink champagne on the radio.
I never forgotten any of those people or any of the voices we used to hear on the radio.
Be sure and tune in tomorrow for another adventure of the Masked Avenger when he flies over the city rooftops and we all hear his cry,
"Beware, evildoers, wherever you are!"
And she is in it as a radio singer, and she's singing the old standard "You'd Be So Nice to Come Home To," and it really is a showstopper. She sings it beautifully. It is extremely moving, and the reactions from the other characters in the film are very memorable. So I love Radio Days for many reasons.
Beware evildoers everywhere.
Yeah,
wherever you are.
So many great performances in there. And in addition to the fact that when I was growing up, we had a bunch of records of old radio shows that I would listen to all the time. So I, in a sense, grew up in the 40s listening to radio shows. So this sort of represented my growing up as well. And I think, as I mentioned, the scene where Seth Green is taken to the Radio City Music Hall to see they take him
my
to
faithful Indian companion.
To a rabbi, he says, faithful Indian. Of course, Seth Green is playing young Woody Allen. But they take him to a movie at Radio City Music Hall, and the feel and the look of that scene is exactly the way I remember being taken to Radio City for the first time when I was like 6 years old. It's really a personal movie that way for me. And the fact that Diane Keaton is in it for even just a couple minutes makes it even more special. And I love it. I love the whole movie. And that is my selection for Diane Keaton Memorial Week.
Wow, I couldn't have predicted this week at all, man. I would not have gotten Something's Gotta Give. I didn't think it would even make the cut this week. And Radio Days, I mean, of all the great Woody Allen collaborations, that doesn't jump to mind as what I would honor her with. She's brilliant. I mean, the singing is wonderful. It's a wonderful movie.
But I wanted to pick something that you wouldn't pick.
Well, you're right. I didn't pick it. I wasn't even on my list. Okay. Saying I have a list.
I adore Radio Days. It's one of those movies that I feel like I like it more every year. I watch it every year around New Year's. It's kind of a New Year's movie, and when she appeared on screen, it was when I first saw it back in 1987.
It was like between Hannah and Crimes and Misdemeanors, wasn't it? It was his movie after Hannah, I think.
It was just such a surprise and a delight to suddenly see her on screen singing that song. And of course, she was a professional singer in her early days.
Yeah, so she worked with Tony Lacey.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. And she was so proud of her singing, and it was an important part. And she didn't really, have a career as a singer, but every time she sang on camera, it was wonderful. And that's just a magical
she's a regular Willie Scott.
Aren't you the famous American entertainer, Willie Scott?
Apparently, American female vocalist. Apparently, she recorded an album in the late 70s that was never released.
Oh my God, Leonard Nimoy could get the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins released, but Diane Keaton couldn't. What's wrong with this world?
She didn't sing the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins. That's the problem. Yeah, that's right. I will admit, I have never seen Radio Days, and now I feel like I need to go out and watch it.
Yeah, there's a whole War of the Worlds sequence. You should dig it the most.
Okay.
They don't say it's War of the Worlds, but it is. It's War of the Worlds. Yeah. It's like you'd love it. And okay.
I'm in.
You got to see it. It's fun. Okay.
I'm in.
So that brings us to Wednesday and Ashley Edward Miller.
All right. So, Darren on Tuesday made his pick because there were some personal connections to it. And that's actually part of the reason why my Wednesday pick is what it is. Now, the movie in question actually did extremely well. In 2025 box office, it probably would have cleared over $200 million. It spawned a sequel, technically sort of two sequels, one of which she starred in. It's a romantic comedy that also features or stars 2/3 of Only Murders in the Building. I am referring to 1991's Father of the Bride.
I used to think a wedding was a simple affair. Boy and girl meet, they fall in love, they say I do. I was wrong. That's getting married. A wedding is an entirely different proposition. You fathers will understand. You have an adorable little girl who looks up to you and adores you in a way you could never have imagined.
Dad, I met a man in Rome, and we're getting married.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'm engaged. I'm getting married.
Right then, I realized my day had passed. Annie, it's a little nippy out. You might want to put on a sweater.
Dad, it's okay. I'm kind of warm.
So there's a chill in the air, and you've been on a plane.
Dad, I'm fine.
Annie, it is kind of cold out.
It is?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. I'll get my jacket.
I was no longer the man in my little girl's life. Old Dad was history. I remember seeing someone who looked like Brian's twin on America's Most Wanted.
First, the wedding of our children.
Wedding coordinator? What's a wedding coordinator?
Master and Mrs. Box in the lovely bride.
We're gonna color coordinate with the swans, right?
Swans? I have a great idea where we can have this wedding.
Where?
The steak pit.
I don't think you want the word pit on the wedding invitation.
I'm leaving. I hope George didn't get lost up there.
He's gonna be fine.
Finally, the big day arrived. The day I'd been dreading for the past 6 months. Well, actually, for the past 22 years. Before I knew it, I had to let her go. Good, I'll just go ahead.
Touchstone Pictures presents Steve Martin, Diane Keaton, Martin Short, and introducing Kimberly Williams.
I'm told that one day I'll look back on all of this with great affection and nostalgia. I hope so. Good night, Mr. Banks. Drive carefully. And don't forget to fasten your condom.
Dad!
Seatbelt, I meant. Seatbelt.
Father of the Bride.
Written by Nancy Myers, directed by Charles Shire. This is just a delightful story about Steve Martin playing George Banks, slowly losing his mind as his baby girl, his daughter, his beloved child prepares to marry some a-hole. And things go crazy. And Diane Keaton plays his wife, Nina. She is the rock upon which everything is built. She steadies him without controlling him. She brings warmth and humor and empathy to everything. She is exactly the person that Steve Martin needs in his life in that film. And I say that there's a personal connection for two reasons. Number one, it has nothing to do with Diane Keaton. The most beautiful thing in Father of the Bride is neither the bride nor Diane Keaton. It is Steve Martin's 1962 black Austin Healey 3000, which is just a gorgeous car.
Well, that's next week. You should have saved it.
But I've got my dad's Austin Healey 3000.
Have we done Car Week
right now?
Have we done Car Week?
We have not done Car Week, but we should.
Oh, we got to do a Car Week.
Anytime I see an Austin Healey, I'm in. And so, I will always remember that. The second thing is, I remember going to that movie and I kind of had a revelation. And the revelation was, you know what? Shit. Okay, in 1991, I'm an idiot. I know that's difficult to imagine.
Don't argue with me. I'm the idiot. You're not the idiot. I'm the idiot.
I'm the idiot. No, you're the idiot. No, I'm the. We can both be the idiot. I am just as capable of being an idiot as you are. I was an idiot, and I watched that movie, and I thought, you know what? The thing that's really unsettling about this film is I feel like that would be me. Like that level of trying to be in control but not being in control, pretending to be in control of myself but not being in control of myself, hating it but not presenting it, like all of those things. And I realized what I need in my life
is a daughter.
No, God, no. I need that like I need a hole in my head.
He doesn't need any more kids.
I needed Diane Keaton. I was like,
you're a little late.
I need to marry. Now, I couldn't marry Diane Keaton, but that actually informed how I thought about how I was going to start thinking about the women that I dated. Like, I need somebody who is that stable, who's that cool, who's that warm, who is that understanding. And so I married my wife. And
lucky.
I'm very lucky. I'm the luckiest bastard I know.
I mean, you might not have married your wife.
Yeah, that's very true, which would have been very unlucky.
She's not my wife.
Yeah, I mean, I love this film because it's just, it's how can you go wrong with Steve Martin and Diane Keaton? Like their relationship is so wonderful. And I really
you can go wrong with Steve Martin.
Well, yeah, sometimes you
can.
But
you can't go wrong with Steve Melching.
No, you cannot. And Steve Melching with Diane Keaton, can you imagine that pairing? They would be so cute together.
Oh, well, now that we know Keanu was involved.
No.
Anything is possible.
But there you go, father of the bride.
Wow.
I do have one of Keanu's costumes from Bill and Ted, so maybe if I wore that, Diane would have.
Well, not now.
By the way, Steve, Ashley and I did a Clone Wars interview with the cast of the Clone Wars, and we gave you a huge shout out.
Oh,
massive shout
out. You.
Yeah. We sang your praises. And we weren't even lying because you did brilliant work on that show.
It wasn't even bullshit.
Yeah, we meant it. We really meant it. So
very cool.
Yeah, well deserved. You don't get enough credit for the brilliant work you did on that show. Okay. Wow, I didn't know I'd have to do the heavy lifting this week. I'm a little surprised here by some of these.
Heavy lifting or easy pickings?
Right. It's like honestly, I feel like as some of the major picks.
I don't know about that.
Friday and for you.
Yeah.
I don't know about that because I got to tell you, I mean, obviously, I thought I could avoid, doing a Woody movie because, like, I thought I'd go with maybe Shoot the Moon with Albert Finney and Diane Keaton, a movie that doesn't get Dr. Peter Weller's in it. Alan Parker, terrific movie from 1982 about divorce. Doesn't get enough love. I think it's a really, really good but not great movie. She's great in it as as Albert Finney's wife. That's an interesting couple. But I clearly can't pick Shoot the Moon when our picks are Something's Got to Give, Radio Days, and Father of the Bride. I have to be honest, two of her most important works I have not seen. And I'm going to remedy that imminently. One is Looking for Mr. Goodbar, which just came out on a beautiful 4K, which I purchased so I could see it because it was not available for a very long time, very hard to see. I want to see that. I haven't seen it. And I will make a point of watching that and picking it on a future episode if it's as good as people say. And then the other movie I haven't seen, which might have been my pick had I seen it, is Reds.
Reds is good.
I have that on Blu-ray and I have every intention of watching. Although I think The Egyptian is showing it, I might go see it at The Egyptian.
Make sure you use the bathroom first. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes long.
I'm not gonna pick either of the Godfathers because as much as I love both those movies, I don't love her in either of them. She's fine. She's actually the best she is in Godfather 3, to be honest. Although she does have my.
Although she has a great scene in 2.
She has an amazing scene in 2. It's an abortion, Michael. It was an abortion.
Spoiler alert.
Who cares? If you haven't seen The Godfather 2, you don't deserve to be listening to this
We were
show.
protecting people from Rosebud not 30
That's
minutes
different.
ago.
That's different. Yeah, okay. But come on. If you haven't seen Godfather...
those are Coppola movies and Pacino movies, really.
Yeah, so I'm not picking Diane Keaton for that. And, the slight... You already did the slight romantic comedies, so I'm not picking Baby Boom, or even the Christmas classic, The Family Stone. I included it in my Christmas documentary. I don't need to mention it on the 4:30 movie. Best Christmas movies ever, available now wherever you get your documentaries. So we mentioned The Family Stone on best Christmas movies ever, but I'm not going to mention that.
That's pretty sly.
Yeah, how about that? Okay, so obviously, what does that leave for me? It leaves all the great collaborations with the genius auteur Woody Allen. I'm so torn. I'm so torn. I was thinking of doing Interiors, which is a movie that is underrated. Maureen Stapleton and Diane Keaton. And who's the third, Steve?
Oh, gosh.
It's his attempt to be Ingmar Bergman.
Yeah.
But she's great as Renata and doesn't get enough respect for it. But I can't pick that because I got to go with, God, I'm so torn. I'm so torn because she's so good, and she's so good in Love and Death, but she's even better in Sleeper.
Excuse me, Mr. Allen? Is that your new movie you're working on?
No. I'm a clarinet player in 1973. I go into the hospital for a lousy operation. I wake up 200 years later and I'm Flash Gordon.
What's the name of the film?
The name of the film is Sleeper. Basically, it's an intellectual film. Most of the scenes in it are of a cerebral, almost didactic nature, and there's very little overt comedy in the film.
What type of role do you play?
I play a generally calm, subdued, in control leading man. It's a dignified role. You won't give me away, will you? You're a nice person. I knew I could count on you.
What's Sleeper about?
Sleeper's a highly charged, emotional love story that's tender and romantic. Try not to get upset. That is between myself and Diane Keaton.
I'm Luna. Luna, remember? Luna.
Your name is not Luna, is it? I chose Diane because she's a very beautiful actress. I wanted to make use of the natural qualities in her face. She's kind of graceful, and there's a certain animal intelligence about her that we utilize throughout the film.
It's hard to believe that you haven't had sex for 200 years.
204 if you count my marriage. There's no violence in the film at all. It's a quiet, easy piece of family entertainment.
Will there be a special price for children?
No, but anyone accompanied by an incoherent person gets in for half price.
Woody Allen and Diane Keaton in Sleeper, a love story about two people who hate each other 200 years in the future.
So my pick, I think, is going to have to be. I was between Playing Against Sam and Sleeper, but I'm going to go with Sleeper because that's like watching a Charlie Chaplin sci-fi movie. It's like watching. I mean, she's so funny in it, and I mean, really, it's not about the movie we like the best. It's about what has the best Diane Keaton performance, and I think she's so good in Sleeper, and I think that's why. Like, I love Bananas, but that's Louise Lasser. When Diane Keaton enters the oeuvre of Woody Allen, it just takes a massive leap forward. That's why Love and Death is like, one of his most sophisticated, early comedies. But Sleeper is so much fun. Miles Monroe wakes up hundreds of years in the future and finds himself as the unlikely leader of a revolution.
It's like Buck Rogers.
Where they're trying, it's like Buck Rogers, but almost as funny. And and she's so good in it. She ends up going from being sort of this cowed kind of character that's fearful of authoritarian rule of the leader to becoming this like rebel leader. And there's just great physical comedy. There's great dialogue. There's great banter. Her relationship with Woody is fantastic. And it's not a movie that people talk that much about anymore, because there's a lot of very 70s references, like references to Albert Schenker and Nixon and all this stuff. So I think people sometimes, Howard Cosell. So, there's a whole generation, I think, that would be watching Sleeper and like mystified by it. Although my son loves it. It's like one of his favorite Woody Allen movies. So, because it's funny. In fact, years ago, I remember I was at MGM and I looked at their library and they were looking for things to remake or do TV series of it. And I begged them to let me remake Sleeper, but or at least do it as an animated series, but they didn't have the rights. Woody had the rights. So, but I love Sleeper, and it's going to be my pick for Thursday.
Nice.
It's going to be my pick for Thursday. Because I think I picked Play It Against Sam once before.
Great movie. Very funny.
Yeah, but that still leaves so much for Friday. Obviously, I think we all know.
I think we all know what it's going to be.
I think, again, it's like, is it going to be Baby Boom? No, it's not going to be. But that was a huge hit for her. I mean, she's great in Play It Against Sam. She's great in that, as is Tony Roberts, who we never acknowledged the passing of Tony Roberts, another great actor.
Right. But we're not going to have a Tony Roberts week.
We're not going to have a Tony Roberts week.
Even though he was the spokesman for Two Guys in New York.
Oh, Two Guys.
Before they added three of them.
And I got to put in defense of Manhattan. I think I picked it a couple of weeks ago for New York Week, or I picked Manhattan
Cocktail
before.
Week, I think.
And that may be her best performance in a Woody Allen movie, but I'm not picking Manhattan, even though I love it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, but I'm not picking it because I didn't pick it.
I really think we need to go to the Star Wars Slayer.
The Star Wars
We need
Slayer?
to go to, yes, we need to go to Annie Hall.
It's not
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree.
iconic role. It's one of the most iconic roles in the history
that she's known for.
Anything.
Watch this.
Yeah.
It's the best movie of 1977, Steve Melching.
Well, that would have been fighting words until I actually saw Annie Hall.
Yeah, me too.
And I guess I didn't realize this until not too long ago, that Annie Hall is Diane Keaton's real name. I mean, her real name, her birth name is Diane Hall,
right?
And her nickname was Annie.
Well, it's a better title than Anadonia. That was the original
It's a better title than
title.
Michael Keaton.
But yeah, she had to take her mother's maiden name as her stage name, because there was already a Diane Hall in Actors Equity. That movie is freaking great. I remember when I saw it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. It's amazing. Diane Keaton is utterly charming
in the way it breaks the fourth wall, nonlinear storytelling, the use of animation, just everything about it is so groundbreaking. And, I wasn't sure if this should be the pick. I wasn't sure if it was as good as I remember. Of course, I knew it was as good. But so I went to see it yesterday. AMC was showing it in theaters for the weekend to honor Diane Keaton. So we went to see it. And you know what? It is as good as I remember it. It's so great. And and the only time we've picked on the show, it was actually Ashley picked it. We did a Fakakta week where it was like we picked movies that we'd never seen that somebody else liked. And Ashley picked Annie Hall, which was wonderful. It was great to see him embrace the this wonderful movie. But how do you not pick this for Diane Keaton week?
Oh, yeah.
No, we can't. You have to.
A relationship, I think, is like a shark. It has to constantly move forward or it dies. And I think what we got on our hands is a dead shark.
Woody Allen.
I love what you're wearing.
Oh, you do? Yeah? Oh, well, this is Ty's present from Grammy Hall.
Who? Grammy Hall?
Yeah, my Grammy.
What are you kidding? What'd you do, grow up in a Norman Rockwell painting?
Diane Keaton.
You don't want me to live with you.
I don't want you to live with me. Whose idea was it?
Mine.
Yeah. It was yours, actually, but I approved it immediately.
Tony Roberts.
The one with the VPL.
VPL?
Visible panty line.
Yeah, she's a 10 max, and that's great for you, because you're used to 2s, aren't you?
Carol Kane.
What's your name?
Allison.
You're like New York Jewish left-wing liberal intellectual, Central Park West, Brandeis University with the socialist summer camps, and their father with the Ben Shahn drawings, right? And they're really, strike-oriented kind of... stop me before I make a complete imbecile of myself.
No, that was wonderful. I love being reduced to a cultural stereotype.
Paul Simon.
We're going to meet Jack and Angelica and have a drink there, and if you'd like to come, we'd love to have you. We can just sit and talk, nothing. Not a big deal. It's just relax, just be very mellow.
I don't respond well to mellow. You know what I mean? I have a tendency to, if I get too mellow, I ripen and then rot.
Shelley Duvall.
I was at the Stones concert in Altamont when they killed that guy, remember?
Yeah, were you? I was at an Alice Cooper thing where 6 people were rushed to the hospital with bad vibes.
Janet Margolin. Colleen Dewhurst. Christopher Walken in the new Woody Allen film.
Were you always funny?
Hey, what is this, an interview? We're supposed to be making love.
Annie Hall.
No, that was the most fun I've ever had without laughing.
Annie Hall.
I mean, it's, even some of her, the wardrobe of the character is based on Diane Keaton's real life style sense. I think some of the clothes she wore were actually her clothes as well.
That's actually she looked at on Johnny Carson in 72, and this movie wasn't shot till 75, even though it came out in 77. Yeah.
And she's so funny and human and quirky and just, delightful. I just keep coming back to that word because she's just always
she's so delightful. And the evolution of her character from being this woman who's needy and anxiety ridden, and eventually sort of finds her, as she gets a little older, she's more mature and she's, working with Tony Lacey and she's recording, but she doesn't need him anymore. She doesn't need the crutch of this boyfriend who's, sort of elevates her. She's able to, have her own life. And that's, the scene at the Source, which I had similar conversations at the Source, which was a vegan restaurant on Sunset Boulevard until it was torn down. Not similar, but I remember, anyway, it doesn't matter. So what's so wonderful is that conversation where she says, no, I don't want to get back together and we're done and everything. And then you see the play and, he rewrites, he says things don't work out perfectly in life, but they can work out perfectly in art. And this is a case of art being kind of perfect.
That's well said.
It's just so wonderful. Good. And the only cultural advantage of Los Angeles is making right turn on red.
Right turn on red.
Oh my God. I love that movie so much. I've seen it so many times. Maybe not as many times as Star Wars, but close. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that was actually easy coming up with that for Friday. Because as much as Manhattan, 1979's Manhattan is great, it's not as iconic as Annie Hall is.
I mean, you just close your eyes and you can see her standing there.
Yeah. La-di-da, la-di-da.
La-di-da.
Yep.
So on that note,
I do want to echo your looking for Mr. Goodbar sentiment. That's another one I haven't seen, and I really want to see that one also.
It's the sequel
I thought
to
it was about
Looking for
chocolate,
Baby Ruth.
so I was excited. I'm looking. No, it was made in the 70s. I'm looking for a Reggie bar.
Oh my God!
Remember that?
Oh my God, a Reggie bar, dude. There's a deep cut.
Yep. That's what we do here. That's what we're all about here on the show. Deep cuts.
That's why we're aboard.
Darren's talking about two guys, and Steve, everything is a deep cut with Steve. And Ashley, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't even know.
It's a Steve cut
time.
Steve cut. So anyway, let's remind the audience at home what we're watching this week on the 4:30 movie in honor of the great and sadly missed Diane Keaton, who passed away at 79 years old. On Monday, Steve?
When Jack Lemmon and Keanu Reeves are both after Diane Keaton, something's got to give.
On Tuesday, it's Darren Dochterman.
On Tuesday, we remember the golden age of radio in 1987's Radio Days.
On Wednesday, Ashley Miller so in the box that he's out of the box.
On Wednesday, Daddy's little girl is getting married, and it's Diane Keaton's job to keep Steve Martin from losing his freaking mind. And also, there's an Austin Healey 3000 in Nancy Myers and Charles Shire's 1991 romantic comedy, Father of the Bride.
On Thursday, Woody Allen encounters cosmic forces beyond imagination.
And battles against an evil empire.
And encounters Princess Ardala. No.
Oh my God.
I want to see that crossover. In Sleeper. And on Friday, it's the Star Wars killer, as you said, Steve, so wisely.
That's no moon.
I actually said it.
Okay, as Darren said, that's no moon. It's the Academy Award winning.
But he didn't.
Annie Hall.
He was a dead Death Star.
You know what else we should have said? Diane Keaton also did some directing, and among her directorial credits was an episode of Twin Peaks.
I had a note to bring that up when someone was talking, but I didn't want to interrupt, and then I forgot. Yeah, she directed an episode of Twin Peaks, and she did the movie Heaven, and she did some other television too. And her directing was as quirky as her acting, in a good way. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, well, look, even though technically we're on hiatus, we're going to be back next week with an all-new episode. Unfortunately, it's another sad one as we pay tribute to the late, great Drew Struzan. So join us next Friday as we honor the work of this incredible artist. And hopefully people stop dying and we can go back into hibernation.
That's one way to get a full season.
I want to go back into permanent hibernation. Okay. So on that note, you can follow us on social at Inglorious Director at 430 Podcast. And of course, please let us know if you have ideas for future episodes of 430. You can write us at trexpertplus@gmail.com. And please follow and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps bring new listeners to the show when we actually are recording. And that's really about it. So on behalf of Stephen Melching, Darren Dochterman, Ashley Miller, myself, Mark A. Altman, Eyewitness News starts now. Ba 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 ba.